out of some random act of kindness. My gloomy, quiet roommate asked if I liked him and if I wanted to be his boyfriend. My face went dark immediately. I told him to take a good look in the mirror, then told him to get lost and blocked him for good measure. After that, I was so grossed out I couldn't eat for 3 days. Later, I was holding him in my arms, tracing his face with my lips. My heart was on fire, and all I wanted to do was tease him until he cried. Damn, I couldn't have been more wrong about him. When Dino asked me to step outside, my first reaction was curiosity. The guy was a total bore. He'd say maybe 5 sentences a day in the dorm, and we never really talked. I had no idea what he could possibly want from me. In a dim, deserted corner, he stopped and turned to face me. But he kept his head down, avoiding my eyes. He was already a head shorter than me, so now I couldn't see his expression at all. I waited patiently for a couple of minutes, but he still didn't speak. I casually leaned against the wall, one hand in my pocket, and raised an eyebrow. What's up? He finally seemed to make up his mind, stammering out a few words. Maybe it was nerves, but his hands were nervously fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. Benjamin. He glanced up at me for a split second before looking down again. His voice as quiet as a mosquito. Are you into me? What the hell? I froze. It felt like my brain just short-circuited and I couldn't process what he'd said. I didn't answer right away. That gave Dino a chance to continue. I'm okay with us being together, it's just… Hold on, I cut him off. Are you gay? He flinched but didn't answer. So that was a yes. Fuck. I almost swore out loud. A surge of anger flared up inside me, making me incredibly irritated. I don't have a problem with gay people. I don't support it, but I don't oppose it either. It's none of my business. But today, some guy had the balls to pull this shit right in front of me. My face hardened. With the last of my patience, I asked, "What on earth gave you the idea that I like you?" Dino looked up, and he must have seen the dark look on my face because he bit his lip nervously. You paid for me before, and when I tried to Venmo you the money, you wouldn't take it. And you helped me carry my books. I had to rack my brain to even remember that. The payment thing happened when he was in front of me in line and his payment app was glitching. I was in a hurry, so I just paid for him. I didn't take the money because it was such a small amount it wasn't worth thinking about, so I forgot. As for the books, I was just giving him a hand. I never imagined that a simple act of kindness would be twisted into liking him in his eyes, and that he'd be okay with us getting together. I've really run into a psycho. Since he came looking for a fight, I wasn't about to hold back. Are you sick in the head? I said coldly. How about you take a look in the mirror sometime? Like you? I'd rather date a doorknob. I'm not gay, so don't try that crap with me. If you don't back off, don't blame me for forgetting we're roommates. I stood up straight, towering over him, and delivered my warning in a cold voice. Dino's face went pale, his hands clenching his sleeves even tighter. He opened his mouth, but I had no patience left to listen. Get lost. Don't bother me. I turned and walked back to the dorm. My skin was crawling, like ants were all over me. What a fucking mess. My mood must have been thunderous, because one of my roommates, Richard, asked curiously, "Benjamin, what's wrong with you? What did Dino say to you? You look so pissed." I pulled out my phone and started scrolling through my contacts without looking up. He's having a psychotic episode. Huh? All 3 of my roommates were instantly intrigued, peppering me with questions about what happened. I wasn't about to share something so humiliating and disgusting, so I didn't answer. I found Dino's name and blocked him without a second thought. Only then did the knot in my chest loosen a little. Dino wasn't in my dorm before. At the start of sophomore year, the university had some students switch dorms, and Dino and Richard were moved into ours, making it a mixed-major dorm. It's a 6-person room with 5 of us living here now. The semester just started, and I never expected him to pull a stunt like this. To make things worse, my bed is right next to his, which is incredibly awkward. I looked across at the guy sipping tea. "Hey Sam, wanna switch beds?" Sam turned to me. "Why switch? I just got my corner all set up." "No way, man." He had just spent 2 days decking out his desk and cabinet with an antique, scholarly vibe. I asked Jake, but he didn't want to switch either. I clicked my tongue, already thinking about moving out and renting a place. But then I thought, why should I? Moving out would mean dealing with an 8 a.m. commute, a total pain in the ass. I'm not the one who's lost their mind. For the next few days, Dino and I didn't exchange a single word. In the dorm, I treated him like he was invisible, ignoring him completely. A couple of times, he tried to approach me, looking like he wanted to say something. Of course, one glare from me sent him scurrying back. He got the message, at least. He stopped trying to get close and started avoiding me. Benjamin, what did Dino actually say to you? Sam was still curious and asked me quietly one day. He seems like a pretty nice guy, all quiet and doesn't talk much. How could he have suddenly pissed you off? I snorted. You can't judge a book by its cover. Nice guy? Quiet? It's all an act. He's just a gloomy creep, a self-absorbed narcissist. He'll probably show his true colors later and turn this whole dorm upside down. Of course, if he dares to cause any more trouble, I have plenty of ways to deal with him. I kept my guard up around Dino. Maybe my warning that day worked, because he's been much more subdued. He avoids me like the plague. He's out early and back late, spending less time in the dorm than before, even on weekends when there are no classes. He talks even less, basically never initiating conversation, only answering when someone in the dorm asks him a question. He's either the first or the last to use the bathroom. One day, I skipped a blow-off class and went back to the dorm to find only Dino there. A few moments later, he packed his things and left, and so on. Just as I'd hoped, he wasn't daring to stir up trouble anymore. But why do I still feel a little annoyed? It's like I'm the one bullying him. One day, Jake was scrolling on his phone, leaning against a wardrobe, and asked Dino, "Hey Dino, what did you do this weekend? Go on a date?" Dino was writing something with his head down. He answered, "No, I was at my part-time job." Jake was confused. "Are you short on cash?" Dino always spoke in a quiet, timid voice. "It's enough, I just want to save up." "Oh, okay." The conversation ended, and Jake ambled back to his desk. Dino kept his head down, continuing to write. The warm glow from his desk lamp lit up his face, casting a soft, silvery light on him. To be honest, the kid is pretty good-looking, fair-skinned and clean-cut, just full of weird ideas. I casually looked away. A little while later, Dino got up and walked towards the washstand. He hadn't taken more than a few steps when Richard, who was standing next to me, for some reason decided to leap into the air, mimicking a jump shot. Dino quickly dodged, and in that moment he lost his balance. His hand instinctively shot out to my desk to support himself. But he accidentally knocked over a figurine I had on the table. With a sharp crack, the figurine shattered completely. Whoops! I was lazily leaning back in my chair. I glanced at the pieces on the floor, then looked up at Dino. I don't know why, but a strange sense of glee washed over me, like I was secretly anticipating something. He was clearly startled, snatching his hand back as if he'd touched a hot stove. "I'm sorry," he said, once he'd recovered. He apologized to me. "I'll pay you back." Dino looked at me anxiously, his eyes filled with nervousness. "He's that scared of me? Seriously?" After a few seconds of pointless wondering, I replied nonchalantly, "Whatever." That night, lying in bed, I got a message from Sam. "Dino is asking how much that figurine you broke costs." I had forgotten I'd blocked the guy. I unblocked him and found the receipt, sending him a screenshot. He replied quickly, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to break your thing." I was holding my phone with one hand, about to reply, when his next message came through. "Can I pay you in installments?" A figurine that costs just over $1,000 is definitely expensive for a typical college student. "I'm not that inflexible." I replied, "Whatever you want." And then he sent me $200. Dino was still avoiding me. Fine. It's not like I particularly wanted to talk to him anyway. Humph. Let's see if he can keep avoiding me for the next 3 years. I had unintentionally signed up for the same elective with the same professor at the same time as him. Of course, we never went to class together. When I got to the classroom today, a quick scan of the room landed my eyes on Dino, sitting bolt upright in the 5th row to the side. I walked over and casually sat down in the empty seat next to him. It wasn't like there weren't other empty seats, I just felt like sitting there today. After I sat down, I could feel Dino's body stiffen, and he even moved the books on his desk closer to himself. I glanced at him, snorted inwardly, and pulled out my phone to play a game. Dino was very attentive in class. The guy seems to get completely absorbed in whatever he's doing, totally focused. When the professor mentioned a key point, he'd even mark it in his book with a pen. He barely touched his phone the entire class, which I actually found pretty admirable. During the break between classes, I turned off my phone screen and noticed the person next to me had his head down, chest resting against the desk, fast asleep. His eyes were closed, his head nodding slightly, his breathing light and shallow. His profile was so clean, with stray hairs falling across his forehead. A straight nose, slightly upturned lips, and a small chin formed a perfect curve. He really did have striking features. I looked away, a strange ripple passing through my heart. Then I dropped my phone on the desk, making a loud thwack. Dino's body trembled, and he woke up. He groggily looked over at me, the source of the noise, then quickly looked away again. He rubbed his eyes and covered his mouth for a small yawn. A barely perceptible smile touched my lips as a strange sense of pleasure bubbled up inside me. I was on my way back to the dorm after dinner today. I happened to see a familiar figure about a dozen meters away. Dino was leaning into the lawn, looking left and right for something. A few other people stood scattered around him, holding nets or cages, also searching for something. I paused, then turned and walked in that direction. A yellow blur shot out of the bushes, flashing before my eyes. Immediately, a figure followed with lightning speed, snatching the thing up in a flash. His momentum carried him forward, and he started to fall. I grabbed the hood of his sweatshirt and pulled him back. Dino, holding a cat, stumbled right into my chest. The big, orange tabby was frightened and struggled in his arms. The dark-haired, bright-eyed boy just stroked it, murmuring softly to calm it down. "It's okay. It's okay. Don't be scared." A moment later, as if just remembering I was there, he turned to look at me. "Benjamin?" His eyes widened in alarm, and he jumped back as if he'd been electrocuted. "I'm sorry. What am I, a monster?" After his initial shock, he added, "Thanks." His distant and cautious manner pissed me off a little. I nodded casually and looked at the cat in his arms. "Hey, not bad moves." The scattered cat-catching squad gathered around. A girl with a look of delight said, "You caught Big Orange. You're amazing, man." Dino smiled shyly and placed the now docile cat, which was even starting to knead, into a cage. The girl's gaze shifted to me and she asked, "Is this?" Dino hesitated, seeming unsure how to answer. His roommate, I finished for him, then asked, "What are you guys doing?" "Taking Big Orange to get fixed, and it's all thanks to Dino." The group left happily with the cat. I looked down at Dino, who was frozen in place. Not heading back to the dorm? His eyes darted away. "I have to go." The moment he opened his mouth, I knew he was about to make an excuse to slip away, so I cut him off. "Avoiding me? Did I do something to you?" Even though my tone was calm and slow, it still startled him. He stammered, "No, it's just, I'm going back to the dorm." "Oh," I said. "Then let's go." I thought he wouldn't say a word the whole way back. But unexpectedly, as we were entering the dorm building, Dino suddenly spoke up. "About last time, I'm sorry. I was wrong." He didn't look at me, just spoke his mind. I wanted to apologize then, but you had blocked me. He had apparently tried to talk to me face to face later, but I had glared him into silence. I was still pissed off back then. I scratched my hair. "Yeah. Just act normal from now on. And stop avoiding me. You make it seem like I'm the plague or something." He let out a soft mm. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. It's normal for roommates to have misunderstandings. As long as you talk it out, it's fine. After all, we have to live under the same roof for a few years. That night before I went to sleep, my mind suddenly flashed back to the afternoon scene. The slender boy bumping into my chest, bringing a wave of fragrance with him. It was faint, I couldn't tell if it was laundry detergent or cologne. Whatever it was, it smelled really good. Thinking about it, I realized Dino seemed to be a particularly clean person. His desk was neat and tidy, always well organized, and he changed his sheets and duvet cover often. Even when it wasn't his turn to clean, if he saw trash on the floor, he'd grab a broom and sweep it up like a little busy bee. He showered a lot, but he always got fully dressed in the bathroom before coming out, never walking around shirtless in front of us. Are all gay guys this clean and shy? Wait, no, what's wrong with me? Why am I thinking about this weird stuff? I closed my eyes, trying to fall asleep. Vaguely, that scent seemed to drift into my nose again. So comforting. I had a really strange dream that night. I dimly remember one scene. I was pinning someone down, kissing them. I couldn't see his face clearly, only that the slender arms gripping my shirt were startlingly white. It was sensual and lingering. I woke with a start, staring at the wall, my heart pounding in my chest. Damn, am I looking to date someone? That can't be right. I haven't met any girl I'm into. The annual Freshman's Cup basketball tournament has started. First up are the games between classes within our college. During the match against Dino's class, I spotted him in the crowd. He wasn't playing, he was probably there to watch some of his classmates. My game was surprisingly on point today. Positioning, steals, dribbling, breakthroughs, shooting. Every time I got the ball, I could sink it. My shooting percentage was pretty high. The opponents had a few good players, and the game got tense for a while. Even I felt a long-forgotten thrill. Dino sat in the stands, his eyes following the game on the court. I wonder who he was watching. But no matter who he was watching, he was bound to notice me. I'm not bragging, but my presence in this game was second to none. During halftime, Jake threw his arm around my shoulders and shook me. Damn, Benjamin, you're always a beast, but you're on another level today. That's our guy, burning up the court. But today's opponents are no joke, he said, rubbing his chin. Should we sneak over and ask Dino about his team's strategy? I laughed and called him shameless, my eyes unconsciously drifting to a certain spot again. Dino might not talk much, but he's surprisingly popular in his class. Right now, someone was chatting with him. I don't know what they said, but he pursed his lips into a shy smile. TSK, that kind of annoyed me. Why is he always either hiding or avoiding me? The girl chatting with Dino handed him a camera. She was probably from the school's news department, asking him to help take pictures. The second half of the game started. Dino came down from the stands and stood on the sidelines, holding the camera and capturing shots. I played with even more energy. The game ended, the score frozen at 98-95. Our class barely won. The crowd began to disperse. Dino was still standing there, looking down at the pictures on the camera. Just then, a ball came flying from court number 6 next to us. It was about to hit the clueless guy in the head. My body moved before my brain could. I quickly took a few steps forward, slapped the ball away, and at the same time, pulled the motionless Dino in front of me. I frowned. Watch out. Huh? Dino finally turned around. The ball hit the ground with a thud, and only then did he realize what had happened. When he saw it was me, a look of surprise crossed his eyes. Thank you. Yeah, I said, nonchalantly letting go of his arm. Going to eat? He blinked, confused, then said, Not yet, I have to return the camera first. He rejected me. Fine, it's not like I had to eat with him. Damn it. A few days later, the school's blog post about the game came out. I scrolled down and saw a handsome picture of myself. In the photo, I was mid-jump shot, a close-up. Thinking back, I made that shot in the second half. So Dino took it. He really was watching me. In a good mood, I got up and went into the bathroom to take a shower. Only after I was done did I realize I'd forgotten something. Jake was in the dorm. I turned off the shower and yelled out, Jake, grab my underwear for me. It's on my chair, the black pair. After shouting, I waited a few seconds, but the guy didn't answer. I urged him, hurry up, hurry up. He still didn't answer, but I heard someone get up. A moment later, he walked over and knocked on the bathroom door. Why aren't you talking? I wondered. What are you afraid of? It's not like I'm gonna run out naked and scare you. I opened the door a crack. He handed me the underwear. Thanks, man. I took it, about to say something else, but I froze. Wait a second. That hand, that skin tone. In the entire dorm, it was unique. Could only be one person. Dino. In that instant, my head started buzzing, and a wave of heat spread through my whole body. No, why am I blushing? It's totally normal for roommates to grab things for each other, right? Shit, why did it have to be underwear? I dragged my feet getting dressed, then walked out of the bathroom. I saw the slender, fair-skinned guy sitting at his desk, wearing headphones, eating fruit salad and watching anime. We were the only two in the dorm. Well, fine. The suspense is over. Dino, come on, quick. Are you gonna play? We need a fifth for a dorm team game. Richard, fed up with the randoms he was getting matched with, rushed over to Dino's desk to persuade him. You should download the mobile game too. You know how to play, right? You said you played the PC version before. I've never played the mobile version. Dino said hesitantly. I'm probably not very good. It's fine. Just practice a bit to get the feel for it. It's not hard. Richard kept coaxing him and actually managed to talk him into it. Dino downloaded the game. 15 minutes later, I saw a new, unfamiliar ID in my friends list, showing they were 3 meters away. I quietly memorized it. You guys go ahead and queue up. I'm gonna play on another account, I told Richard and the other two. Then I logged into a rarely used Smuff account and changed my IP address. I don't know what possessed me, but I searched for the ID Stardust and sent a friend request. He accepted almost immediately. I quickly sent a message. Wanna play together? Stardust. Hi. Do I know you? Nope. Just saw your ID and felt like we were destined to be friends. So I added you. Oh, okay. I'm new, so I'm not very good. No worries. I'm looking for an apprentice. I only pick those with natural talent, and you seem like you've got the gift. Really? Without giving him a chance to refuse, I sent a team invitation. As soon as he joined the lobby, I immediately started matchmaking. Once in the game, I asked him, what role do you want to play? Dino turned and asked Richard, what role do you guys need? Support, probably, Richard answered in a spare moment. But anything works, we switch around. It's fine, just play whatever you want. Despite that, Dino told me he'd play support. For the next few games, I carried him, crushing our opponents, showing off all my flashy moves, and getting MVP every single time. After we finished, I asked him, so, what do you say? Want to be my apprentice? I guarantee you'll be a pro in 2 weeks. I silently glanced up and saw Dino next to me, frowning slightly as he held his phone, deep in thought, clearly hesitating. A few seconds later, he replied, okay, thank you for the help. A grin spread across my face, one I couldn't suppress. Dino was pretty gullible, easy to talk to. 2 days later, I added him on WhatsApp with my SMEF account and sent him a screenshot of my main account's high rank. Combined with my performance carrying him in the matches these past 2 days, it elicited a stream of over-the-top compliments. You're so good. How do you know how to play every hero? Your game sense is amazing, and your mechanics are maxed out. You're a monster. Thanks for carrying me, you're so nice. He's quite the sweet talker. So why is he so cold to me in real life? When I asked Dino to play games at night, he would get ready for bed first, climb into his bunk, and draw the curtain. He'd put on his headphones and play quietly. He wasn't used to using voice chat, which was perfect since it meant I didn't have to either, thus protecting my identity. We just communicated through text. He was so obedient. He agreed to everything I said, following my instructions to the letter. As a support, he would stick by my side constantly, protecting me like a diligent little bodyguard. He was just really well behaved. At first, we only talked about the game. Later, under my subtle guidance, he started occasionally sharing bits about his life. He'd talk about his classes for the day, what he did, how he was feeling. The online Dino seemed a bit more lively than the real-life one. One day, I casually probed, how's your relationship with your roommates? He said, it's pretty good. I pressed my tongue against the roof of my mouth, glanced at the person sitting obediently next to me, and continued to press. Oh, so you get along great with everyone then? Not exactly, he said. There's one I don't get along with. Why? Because I did something that made him dislike me. He hates me. Bullshit. When did I ever hate him? Suppressing the urge to get up and confront him face to face, I replied, "He wouldn't hate you." He asked, "How do you know?" "You're not him. I am him." I've never felt so frustrated. I gritted my teeth and replied, "I'm just saying, it's impossible for him to hate you. You're too good. I'm your mentor. Do you trust me or not?" That night, lying in bed, I replayed that day's events in my mind. Was I too harsh with him? Seems I really was. My expression was cold, and I even told him to get lost. Actually, back then, he was just asking me, not stating it as a fact, and I even cut him off. Putting everything else aside, wasn't I also at fault? I did things that made him misunderstand, and then I was so harsh to him. Sigh. One morning, around dawn, I heard someone in the next bed tossing and turning. Was Dino still awake? 2 of the 3 guys across from us were snoring like frogs. Was the noise keeping him up? I switched to my Smuff account on WhatsApp and messaged him. "You asleep?" Sure enough, he replied almost instantly. "Not yet. It's so late. Why aren't you sleeping?" He said, "I just can't fall asleep." I had a feeling I knew why, so I didn't ask, just replied with a good night. He did the same. A little while later, the snoring in the dorm gradually subsided. I felt relieved, put my phone away, and went to sleep. The next day was Saturday, number 8 a.m. class. It was already late when I got out of bed. Richard and Sam were in the dorm. Jake had probably gone out on a date again. Dino. I looked up. His bed curtain was still drawn. He hadn't gotten up yet today? He was usually the first one up. He must have been awake for too long last night. As I came back from washing up, I saw him climbing down the ladder from his bunk, his movements slow. Something was strange. Just as I was thinking that, I saw Dino miss a step and fall backward. I rushed forward and caught him, only then realizing something was seriously wrong. His face was pale, his lips colorless, and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. "Dino?" I was stunned. "What's wrong with you?" He clutched his stomach with one hand and managed to force out a single word. "Hurts." Richard and Sam saw what was happening and rushed over. Flustered. "Where does it hurt? Do you need medicine? Should we go to the infirmary?" I helped him to a chair and quickly changed my clothes and put on my shoes. "I'm taking him to the hospital," I said. Dino was in too much pain to speak. I had the other 2 help me get him onto my back. The dorm was on the 4th floor, but he was so light on my back that I practically ran down the stairs without breaking a sweat. My car was in the underground parking lot. I placed him in the passenger seat and fastened his seatbelt. Then I got in the driver's seat, hit the gas, and sped towards the hospital. A sense of urgency was rising rapidly inside me, impossible to ignore. I frowned, my fingers unconsciously tightening on the steering wheel. Dino still looked like he was in a lot of pain. "Hang in there," I said. "We're almost at the hospital." We went to the emergency room. It was half an hour later before Dino started to feel better. That's when I learned he had stomach problems and was also running a fever today. The doctor asked when his stomach started hurting, and he said last night. So he couldn't sleep last night because of stomach pain? I pulled up a chair and sat down by his hospital bed. Looking at Dino, who was now on an 4 drip, I felt both angry and helpless. "Started hurting last night. Why didn't you say anything? You're so tough. Are you a Ninja Turtle or something?" He glanced up at me and said quietly, "I was afraid of waking you guys up." I really didn't know what to say to him. After a moment of silence, he asked me, "How much are the medical bills? I'll transfer the money to you. And for the ride." This guy really knows how to piss me off. "Don't send me anything," I said with a stern face. The sight of money just annoys me. He froze, seemingly unable to comprehend such a statement. I continued, "And the money for that figurine, stop sending it. I don't want it." Every time he transferred it before and saw I hadn't accepted it, he'd insist on reminding me. It got to the point where my chat history with him on my main account was all about money. "Why?" he asked. "I haven't paid it all off yet. You didn't break it on purpose. Besides, that figurine was right on the edge of the table. It was bound to fall." I started making things up. Out with the old, in with the new. I was tired of looking at it anyway. And isn't there a saying? Breaking something brings good luck. Dino wasn't convinced and looked up, ready to argue again. But I didn't give him the chance. I stood up. What do you want to eat? I'll go buy it. I thought for a moment and added, it's better to have something soupy. Is porridge okay? He looked at me, stunned. Okay. Dino had very good table manners, chewing slowly and deliberately. I watched him, a sense of satisfaction rising in my heart. After he finished eating, he would look up at me and thank me obediently. Thank you, Benjamin. You went through a lot of trouble for me today, and that just frustrated me. When would he stop being so polite and distant with me? Since he was shy and reserved, I had to be the one to take the initiative. After that, whenever we had the same elective, I would walk with him and sit next to him. Most of the time, he was listening attentively to the lecture, taking notes. Occasionally, I would bother him a little, asking where the professor was or how many minutes were left in class. When I saw him getting sleepy, I'd tell him to go ahead and sleep, that I'd keep an eye out for him. Benjamin, the professor's about to ask a question. Dino gently poked me with his finger and whispered, he's picking someone at random. A tingling sensation, like an electric current, shot through my body. I snapped out of it, turning off my phone to listen as he repeated the question. Seeing I didn't have my book, he slid his textbook over towards me. Let's share. Because we were sharing a book, he leaned closer to me. I watched his soft, pink lips open and close. Suddenly, my mouth felt a little dry, and of course I got called on. But I had been so focused on the person next to me that I hadn't looked at the book at all. Dino's pale fingertips tapped a spot in the book, whispering a reminder. Here. I read from the book. The professor on the stage glanced at us, saying pointedly, good friends helping each other out. Huh? You can sit down. After I sat down, I noticed the tips of Dino's ears were red. My heart felt a little warm. I asked him, what are you getting for lunch later? I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Let's go together then, I said naturally. How about the roast pork rice at Dining Hall 2? Or the beef hot pot at Dining Hall 1? After that, I often dragged Dino along to eat with me. I had never met a guy with such a small appetite. Felt like he was full after just a few bites. I've heard that irregular eating habits can lead to stomach problems, and his appetite is so small. Could it be that he had to skip meals as a kid? Looks like I'll have to keep a closer eye on him and supervise his eating from now on. Dino finally stopped avoiding me, and we could interact normally. But I felt it wasn't enough. I felt like our relationship should be even closer. During this time, Dino leveled up his game account so our dorm could finally play as a 5-stack. The guys were all fired up, ready to dominate. Before the game started, I said to Jake, I'll play AD, you go mid lane. Then I slid my chair over next to Dino. When I saw his confused expression, I said, without batting an eye, easier to communicate. Finally, we weren't just playing in silence. With our bot lane dominating in most games, we went on a winning streak all night. Dino was pretty happy too. He took a screenshot of our match history and sent it to my Smuff WhatsApp account. Look, am I good or what? Do I count as a graduate now? I had just stood up. Seeing the message, I reached out and ruffled his hair, chuckling. You're good. As he looked up at me in confusion, I continued, you've graduated. Dino froze for 2 seconds, then his eyes widened as it dawned on him. You're? I didn't plan on hiding it anymore. I shook my phone. Your mentor. Dino's expression shifted rapidly through surprise, confusion, embarrassment, and finally settled on a flustered shyness. You lied to me. He bit his lip, a rare hint of annoyance in his eyes as he shot me a glare that had no real threat. Then he turned his head away from me. Are you angry? I quickly went to check his expression. Okay. I admit it, I just wanted to take advantage of you to be your mentor. My heart skipped a beat. Are you really mad? How about this, I'll be your apprentice, you can be the mentor, okay? He mumbled. I'm not mad. He said that, but I still thought he was mad. When he was washing up, I went over to him. My bad. I shouldn't have lied to you. Don't be mad. Okay? Dino had just washed his face. He stood with his eyes closed, and leftover water droplets clung to his long lashes, some trickling down his neck into his collarbone. As if possessed, I foolishly poked his waist. His whole body shuddered violently. He opened his eyes to look at me, shocked. "What are you doing?" His ears turned bright red instantly. I came to my senses and reluctantly pulled my hand back. Sorry." He silently took a half step back and glanced up at me. "I'm really not mad." Then he explained in a small voice, "It's ticklish." The blush on his face didn't fade for a long time. "He's so sensitive." I savored the memory of that soft touch, my heart fluttering. That night I had that dream again. A fresh, pleasant scent filled the air. I had him pinned against the wall, kissing him softly. His waist was thin, his skin was fair, and his breathing was light. There was a small Adam's apple on his upturned, pale neck. I looked up, and this time I saw his face clearly. Dino. When I woke up, I lay on my back, staring blankly. Holy shit. Am I gay? Then again. Dino is so good-looking, so well-behaved and cute, and he has a great personality. Isn't it perfectly normal to fall for him? A long weekend was coming up. One day, on my way back to the dorm, I overheard Dino on the phone through the partially closed door. "Mom, can I please see you just once this break? It won't cost much, I have my own savings. I can, take a bus?" "Okay, well, you're busy then. One more thing. Can you please stop giving him my contact information?" He said a few more words and then hung up. I waited a moment before walking in. I saw his fair, handsome face clouded over with gloom. Dino was looking down, looking dejected. Fresh fruit salad. I put the container I was holding on his desk. Before he could refuse, I said, "I'm not going to eat it. If you don't, it's just going in the trash." He swallowed the refusal on his lips. "Okay, thank you." I leaned against the desk nearby, watching him eat. Then I spoke up. "Hey Dino, that thing from before, ask me again." He looked up, confused. "What thing?" "You know, that thing." I ran a hand through my hair, not sure how to say it. "The one thing you've only ever asked me." Dino thought for a few seconds, then ventured, "Do you want to get the chicken cutlet rice from dining hall too?" My treat. Chicken cutlet rice, my ass. Jake and the others came back, making a racket, so I didn't press the issue. That evening, they were excitedly discussing their holiday plans. Dino wasn't going anywhere, he was staying at school. Richard and Sam were in a club together and were planning a trip to a neighboring state with some friends they'd made there. Jake was also planning a trip with his girlfriend, but he was broke and still trying to figure it out. That night, I transferred $3,000 to him and told him to just go. I figured now no one would interrupt the precious one-on-one time I'd have with Dino. "Thanks, bro." "No, I mean Dad." Jake sidled up to me, grinning like a fool. Then he whispered, "I see you and Dino are getting along great lately. Did you clear up that misunderstanding?" I gave a distracted my mind already elsewhere. He asked again, "Dad, what are you thinking about?" About how I didn't know a good thing when I saw it. With everyone gone, the dorm was finally quiet, leaving just me and Dino. I had it all planned out. Tomorrow we'd go out to eat, the day after, a movie, the day after that, the arcade. If he didn't want to go out, I was fine just hanging out with him in the dorm. The next day we got ready and left. We hadn't decided where to eat yet, so we stood at the main school gate, looking at our phones for places. Dino was right beside me, his head bowed in concentration. From my angle, I could see the whirl of his dark hair and his sharp chin. The more I looked, the more I liked him. Suddenly, Dino's expression changed, and he gripped his phone tightly. He shot his head up, looking around frantically, as if searching for something. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Did he get a message or something?" He didn't answer directly, his face filled with obvious panic. "Let's just go." I didn't know what was going on, but I nodded. However, we hadn't taken more than a few steps when a strange man's voice called out from behind us, "Dino, where are you off to?" Dino stopped in his tracks, his body rigid. Turning around, I saw a man standing about 5 meters away. He looked about 3 or 4 years older than us, wearing a gray suit, his hair slicked back with gel, and a pair of black framed glasses. He looked presentable enough, but there was something off-putting about his demeanor. Why didn't you reply to my messages? And you blocked me? His face was dark, his tone condescending. Dino, you've been avoiding me for so long. You're not being a good boy. Where did this greasy, creepy guy pop out from? Dino didn't speak, unconsciously taking a step back, his body still tense. I didn't know who this guy was, but judging by Dino's reaction, he couldn't be good news. So I asked coolly, who are you, dude? Is this your classmate? A friend? The man let out a strange laugh. So rude. Dino, haven't you told him about me? Dino's voice was hoarse. Why would I? I don't know you well. Charles, can you please stop bothering me? At his words, the man, Charles, had his expression change, his face turning cold. Don't know me well? Dino, have you forgotten? I'm the one who knows your secret. He looked at me pointedly. Does he know your secret? Have you told him that you like men? His face twisted into a mask of undisguised malice directed at Dino. He took 2 steps forward, and Dino retreated again. I stepped forward, partially shielding Dino with my body. It was a holiday, and the school gate was bustling with people. Having started, Charles got worked up all by himself. He raised his voice and continued, "You like men. Everyone, come and see. A college student who likes other men." His tone made it sound like Dino had committed some unforgivable crime. I was momentarily confused. Is this guy mentally ill? Or did he time travel from some ancient dynasty? You idiot, my voice was icy. What gutter did you crawl out of to come here and act like a psycho? Dino stood behind me, silent. Looking closely, I could see his body was trembling slightly. His face was pale, his eyes vacant, as if he were trapped in a bad memory. I was taken aback. Dino? Dino? I called his name a 3rd time before he finally looked at me, his eyes red-rimmed. My heart lurched. Probably because they'd never seen such a weirdo, many students stopped to watch Charles. Finding his audience, he went on. Have you ever seen this? A guy liking another guy? It's so shameful. Dino, I told you a long time ago, once people know your secret, no one will accept you. He turned his eyes, staring intently at Dino. You'll never find someone who loves you. Only I will accept your flaws. Only I will always be with you. Why do you keep avoiding me? He screamed the last sentence, his face contorted with rage. This guy really was sick. I suppressed the urge to rush over and punch him. The next second, I took Dino's hand. I'm his boyfriend. What the hell are you barking about? I raised our clasped hands for everyone present to see. First time I've seen such a small-minded, pathetic loser. You've got some nerve. Charles's expression froze, then slowly crumbled. Impossible. The students watching were amused and started chiming in with ridicule. What's wrong with a guy liking another guy? Dude, are you living in a cave? Did you not get the memo on social progress? What a psycho. His brain's messed up. This is a college campus, dude, a place of extreme tolerance. You keep using his private life against him. You're the one who's disgusting. What's the deal? Is he trying to PUA him? Is this a case of, if I can't have you, I'll just go crazy? They're such a cute couple. You should just leave and stop being an eyesore. The hand in mine was cool but smooth and soft. It felt like a small electric current shot through my body, making my heart tremble. My face was calm, feigning composure, but my heart was pounding rapidly. Impossible, impossible, Charles raged impotently. Dino, you're lying to me, aren't you? You two teamed up to lie to me. I'm not lying. I have a boyfriend. Dino leaned closer to me, his shoulder pressing against my arm, his warmth steadily transferring over. He said, you promised before that if I found a boyfriend, you would never bother me again. I don't remember what else that bastard Charles babbled on about after that. In the end, he was kicked out by the gate security. Even after we got to the restaurant, I still felt like I was floating. Happiness had come so suddenly, it felt like a dream. Benjamin, thank you for what you did back there. His clear, crisp voice pulled me back to reality. Thank me for what, I said. That's what a boyfriend is supposed to do. You know, chasing away creeps for your partner. But he just stared at me blankly and said, huh? Then he whispered, weren't we just pretending? I almost choked. How can this be pretend? You admitted it in front of all those students. I looked at him mournfully. Don't you want me to be your boyfriend? But you don't like me. You said before. My heart sank. That was before. Just pretend everything I said back then was bullshit. I slipped my hand into his, lacing our fingers together. Who said I don't like you? I like you a lot, I said. Are you planning on not taking responsibility for me? If you say we're still pretending, then you're a little heartbreaker. Dino was completely baffled by my words, finally saying in a daze, I'm not going to be irresponsible. I nodded with satisfaction. Good. So we're dating now. Dino gets embarrassed really easily. Oh well, that just means I have to be the one to take the initiative. Of course, couples have to eat together every day. We have different majors, so our classes are different, but our major-specific classes are in the same building. After class, we'd go to the cafeteria together. And then I would take his hand, which was a size smaller than mine. At first, he was very uncomfortable with it, so shy he'd keep his head down the whole way, the tips of his ears turning so red they looked like they would bleed. But surprisingly, he was very tolerant of me. No matter how shy he was, he never refused, letting me do as I pleased. He's so incredibly well behaved. In the cafeteria, I was scrolling through my phone. I saw a post on the campus forum that had gone viral, staying at the top with hundreds of comments. Turns out they were discussing what happened at the school gate that day. Half the people were trashing Charles, and the other half were saying how perfect Dino and I were for each other and wishing us well. I was grinning from ear to ear as I read. I turned and pulled Dino over to look with me. Dino, look. I pressed against his shoulder, moving my phone in front of his eyes. Everyone says we're a perfect match. I picked out a few comments. I hope they last forever. They're both super hot. I really want to see them kiss. Wishing you a happy life together. Dino reached out and covered my mouth. Stop reading, he said, looking at me, his starry eyes shining. There are people here. On a whim, I licked his palm with the tip of my tongue. The boy snatched his hand back in a panic, his cheeks flushed crimson. So cute. I like him so much. Dino didn't want to make a big deal about telling our roommates about our relationship. But it didn't matter. I didn't hold back, and they weren't idiots. Of course they could tell. Jake clicked his tongue in amazement. Remember how you treated him at the beginning? And now look at you, totally in love. I kicked his chair leg. Let's not bring up the past. That night, the other 3 roommates weren't back yet. I reached out and pulled Dino, who was walking by, onto my lap. He was probably used to my occasional surprises by now. After a second of panic, he quickly calmed down. He looked at me and whispered, "What is it?" "We've been dating for a week," I said in a low voice. "Time for a kiss." His face turned red. I don't know how. It's okay, we can practice together. I held him in my lap, one hand on the back of his neck, and kissed him. Our lips and tongues intertwined, our breaths mingling. After a while, when I felt the person in my arms was about to run out of air, I finally let him go. The boy's face was flushed, one hand unconsciously gripping my shirt as he gasped for breath. I hugged him tight, resting my head on his shoulder and laughing softly. "Dino, if we practice more, you won't get so breathless." His voice was muffled and shy. Nonsense. I used to not understand couples who were all over each other all the time. I'd usually just roll my eyes and look away. But now that I'm dating such a sweet and pliant boyfriend, I finally get it. When you really like someone, you just want to be close to them all the time. I miss him like crazy when he's not around for even a little while. The weather was gradually getting colder. At night, I lay in my bed chatting with my boyfriend, who was 2 meters away. "Baby, are you cold?" "I'm okay." "Okay. That means a little bit, and a little bit means cold." My mind was made up instantly. "I'm climbing into your bed then. Time to warm up my baby." Dino sent back a dazed-looking emoji. I sat up, slowly opened my curtain, and tiptoed over to his bed. In the darkness, through the faint light of my phone, I saw Dino's eyes go wide. He was shocked for 2 seconds, but then he quickly lifted the corner of his blanket and whispered, "It's cold tonight. Why are you wearing so little?" I slipped into the blanket and wrapped my arm around him, pulling him into my embrace. I buried my face in his neck and took a deep breath. "Baby Dino, you smell so good." He tensed up, gently pushing me. "Don't move, they're still here." I hummed distractedly, then looked up to kiss his forehead, his nose, his cheeks, his lips, carefully tracing his features. A fire ignited inside me. The desire to pin him down and tease him grew infinitely. The helpless boy trembled in my arms. Finally, I placed a devoted kiss on the corner of his lips. "Go to sleep. It's okay. We have a long time ahead of us. We'll have countless nights sleeping in each other's arms." Epilogue. When Dino was very young, his parents divorced. Neither of them wanted him. Confused and insecure, he was sent to live with his grandparents in the countryside. Desperate not to be abandoned again, he tried with all his might to be a good kid. He studied hard, helped with chores, was polite and sensible, and never asked for anything, but it was no use. His grandparents still didn't like him. They were annoyed just by the sight of him, constantly hitting or scolding him. They often forgot to save him food, so he was always hungry. Dino gradually understood. He was an unwanted child, undeserving of love. In the 6th grade, new neighbors moved in next door. Dino met an older boy named Charles. He was very kind to him, bringing him candy, helping him with his homework, and inviting him over to his house. Charles's parents were also very nice, smiling and praising him, and making him delicious food. Dino was so envious of this older brother and cherished their precious friendship. In middle school, he realized he liked boys. Fear, anxiety, nervousness, worry, all sorts of emotions swirled within him. Finally, he decided to share his secret with his only good friend. He even wrote a heartfelt letter to tell Charles. But Dino could never have imagined what would happen. On his birthday, a day he had begged his parents to spend with him, when everyone was gathered together, Charles took out that letter and exposed his secret to everyone. The vicious faces, the angry curses, replayed in his nightmares for countless nights, torturing Dino. They pushed and shoved him, calling him a little pervert, bad seed, damned little animal. Dino felt that his scarred heart had shattered completely. He spent many, many years trying to escape that helpless and desperate night. Dino studied hard, grew up, and finally left home for college. He didn't understand why Charles followed him like a shadow, a ghost that wouldn't leave him alone. The night he'd told his secret, their friendship had been declared broken. Clinging to a sliver of ridiculous hope, Dino had kept in touch with his birth mother. That's how Charles got Dino's contact information. He insisted that besides himself, no one would ever accept a gay Dino, becoming so obsessed that he wanted to control every aspect of Dino's life. So when he said, "If you find a boyfriend, I'll stop bothering you," Dino did the most reckless and impulsive thing of his life. He went to his roommate, Benjamin. He had heard that this guy came from a good family with a powerful background. If he could help him, maybe he could finally get rid of Charles. But Dino messed it up again. The man had scolded him fiercely. It made sense. His personality was so awful, dull and boring, timid and fearful. How could anyone possibly like him? After that day, he was terrified. Every minute of every day was spent on edge, afraid that Benjamin would retaliate. But he didn't. Benjamin, he looked fierce, but he was actually generous and kind. He had helped him so many times. Dino gradually let his guard down and became good friends with him. Later, on the day Charles showed up, Benjamin took his hand and said, "I'm his boyfriend." In that moment, Dino felt his breath catch. His heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand, an overwhelming, bittersweet ache. Just like that other night, there were so many voices around him. But this time, everyone was on his side. Dino felt like he could finally escape that day. Later, he and Benjamin started dating for real. He was actually willing to do anything, he was just too shy to say it. So most of the time, he would obediently let Benjamin touch him, secretly enjoying it. Dino once participated in a Wishes from the Heart event organized by a school club. They made handmade wish cards. He prepared his carefully and wrote down 2 wishes. To become an independent adult. For someone to love me. When Benjamin saw it, he took Dino's hand, kneading it gently. Hasn't the second wish already come true? Am I not a person? As Dino looked at him in confusion, his tone became serious. I love you. I love Dino. I will always love you. This was the first time since they started dating that Dino initiated a hug with Benjamin. He threw himself into Benjamin's arms, wrapping his hands around his neck, holding on tight. His voice was thick with emotion. Thank you for loving me.